So from last week, we talked about the Hawaiian issue. So who believed the United States could build its empire in Hawaii and other regions through trade? What'd you get for number one, Ms. Hughes?
Secretary of State William H. Seward.
So Seward, we will put down as his last name here. So one of the things that we're looking at in the United States at this time and around the world is being able to expand our empire. So this is our goal in the United States. One, we're going to need some spots because, we're mostly like shipping stuff from place to place. We need places around the world to have shipping lanes, to have naval bases. And we also want to trade with the other countries around the world too. We like their stuff and we want them to buy ours. Which island's like 2,000 miles west of California? Vincent, what'd you get for that one?
Hawaii.
Hawaii, we'll abbreviate right now. So the lush Hawaiian Islands, an archipelago of 8 large and 100 or so smaller islands. It's formed by volcanic activity out in the Pacific Ocean. In 1820, who began to arrive in Hawaii? This
Christian missionary.
missionaries. So missionaries brought with them brought with them God, the Bible, and also diseases. These native Hawaiian people are on an island by themselves, and a lot of the Polynesian people out there on these islands, they've been like Moana for like all their life. They've been around their people. They kind of look like Maui. What's the guy's name?
Yeah, I think his name was Maui.
Okay, so they have a different look to them. They have not been exposed to diseases of white people, like smallpox. It was not corona, as my previous question, or previous class have said all day today. So as they came here, how do you feel? You're a Hawaiian person. All of a sudden, these white people are coming in and telling you, hey, you're doing it wrong. You shouldn't believe in all these gods. You should believe in one. And now all of a sudden your people are dying because these white people brought you diseases.
I wouldn't be too happy.
So first impression did not go so well, and the United States missionaries are coming there, not maybe making the best first impression. But Pearl Harbor was one of the best in all of Hawaii. We need to look at why, and this is more so in the a contextual version here based on the map. So here is Pearl Harbor. It's like an inlet. So if you think of an island way out in the middle of the ocean, what do you got to worry about sometimes if you've got a harbor there?
Yes.
Water.
You can be attacked from any side.
Okay, so you can be attacked. That's a good point. What else? A tsunami.
Limited resources on the island.
That's another thing, but I like the tsunami fact. So the reason that Pearl Harbor was the best is that it's completely surrounded on 3 sides. So, oops, sorry. Okay. Surrounded by land. So they don't have to worry about a roadway. It doesn't even have to be a tsunami, but like a 10-foot wave, if your boat is parked at the dock, it could take the boat underwater. So as we look at the issues here, that's why Pearl Harbor was the best. The last queen of Hawaii, and I won't ask you to pronounce this, we can call her Queen Lil. Her real name is Queen Liliuokalani. Her appropriate abbreviation is Queen Lil. And this is our problem number 6. It says, examine the role of Americans on the island and how it affected native Hawaiians. Alina, what did you get for that one?
I just put Washington sought a treaty to annex Hawaii to the U.S.
Okay, so how do you think it affected the native Hawaiians?
I'm not so sure if they're happy about it.
They kind of stole it, right? A lot of people today, it's like, we stole Hawaii from them. So whatever you put for this one here, you have your own opinion on it. Some people would say that if we didn't take it, somebody else would. Would you rather us have it than, like, Germany? Maybe. If Osama bin Laden's around back in the day, who would we rather have control of Hawaii? At least we're going to be nice to them. So, if we're examining the role, we stole it, but maybe it's for the better good. So we'll just put something down there, and I'll give you credit because your opinion's your opinion. The chief diplomat from the United States insisted the overthrow was a guy named Stevens. So John Stevens, look at this, assisted the United States planters to overthrow Cleveland. How is the treaty going to bring them into Hawaii with the 8th grade A word? What's it called? 8th grade appropriate A word? Annex. So that is where a big country absorbs a little country. Kind of takes it in under its wing. Some people say, this is good, because somebody needs to watch out for this poor little country. Other people might say, well, that country was doing okay for the last, ever by itself, didn't need anybody else. Now all of a sudden, the big bully country's going to come over and take it over?
Yeah, we just robbed them and gave them diseases.
So, I appreciate your patriotism, Mr. CJ. So, while President Cleveland thought that there was interference here, the American sugar planters actually overrode him. A guy named Sanford Dole overrode the President of the United States at the time. Kind of a big deal. But there was a lot of money to be made because Hawaii was perfect for, those tropical things, fruits like, Dole bananas, and sugar that we can't just grow in Illinois because it's too cold. So which islands, 3,000 miles more, taking a turn to the south? What islands are down there? It's one of my favorite Girl Scout cookies. Samoas. I really don't like Samoa cookies, to be fair. I like the peanut butter and the Thin Mints. But if you were to get me some Samoas, I would gladly eat them. The countries that divide up the Samoa Islands, I got it kind of halfway there already. So divided between the Great Britain and the United States. And it says compare the actions of the United States in Hawaii and Samoa. Do you feel that we were reasonable in taking over these places?
A little bit not.
A little bit not. And you can think about that. Last hour said yes, but we maybe say not really. We're not sure how we feel about it at first. We'll have to dive more into it. So here is the makeup of the Pacific. We got Hawaii up here, Samoa down here. What would be a great spot? Why would Hawaii be a good spot for us to have? A couple of reasons.
Because people like it.
People like it. What a great vacation destination. I'll ride in your suitcase if you guys are going to go. Why else would we maybe want Hawaii?
I can get in the suitcase. It's not
I don't
crowded really.
Not crowded. Way out there, that would be good.
Like front like oceans.
It's economically, it's a good point because it can be a spot for ships to stop.
Oh, yeah.
To larger countries.
It's halfway there. It's like halfway between the United States and Asia. Good spot to stop in Hawaii. One more thing. What else might we put there?
Naval bases.
Base. So in Pago Pago in Samoa and Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, we have 2 naval bases. So this was important for our long-term success. And we've got about 5 minutes. Why was China too weak to resist foreign powers? So warring factions, also no industry, was a problem. What were the sections of China where the foreign nations enjoyed special rights and powers? They called them spheres of influence. It's tough to say that word. Spheres of influence. So this is where these people, like the United States people, these businessmen, got to have certain rights and powers. Yes?
Is Hawaii just like formed? How do people get there?
So kind of like Moana, the people like the story, they took ships and they just sailed from place to place to place. So that is kind of it. In fact, Moana is based on the cultural traditions of typical Polynesian island people. So a lot of that was...
Did you know, I'm pretty sure Maui was a real demigod in that.
Yeah.
But he also had a Bigfoot son, too.
Really?
Big first.
Maybe I do.
No, an actual pig.
Really? That happens.
No, it was that one girl.
Hey, fast forwarding so we get done. What was the Secretary of State John Hayes' proposal to trade with China? He called it an open door policy. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of China?
China.
I figured that you think that. Communism,
That's
Corona.
what I think of.
What else we got?
Food.
Food?
What
Chinese food.
China makes literally like everything that
Thank
you
you.
care.
So they make a lot of stuff. Now, what I need for you guys to think of also in terms of population, especially back in the day, they're winning. Number one in the world in terms of population. They've got almost 1.2 billion people there,
Okay.
compared to our 337 million people in the United States. They're about 3 times us, maybe 4.
3 billion.
Not quite that much. But they are getting bigger. I didn't erase this very well, the next one here. So in China, the violent uprising was protesting against what they called foreign devils. They didn't like these people coming into their country and acting like they owned the place. So, after 9/11, I kind of got the idea that not everybody in the world likes the United States. So thinking outside the box and being empathetic with other people's opinions is our goal in social studies class. We need to sometimes question and wonder why more often. The capital city of China, they just had the Olympics there a couple years ago. What is it? What's the capital city of China?
Beijing.
Beijing. That's a J. So Beijing. So who's the winner in terms of trading with China today? I've got China on there, but let me have you look at this graph. So these are terms of exports and imports. In the purple is all the exports. Oops, sorry. Let me get this up here. So trade with China in the millions. So these are really, really, really big numbers here. Like 450,000 million.
What the heck?
That's a lot of numbers and zeros.
4 billion.
So,
Popular.
if we look at the purple, this is all the stuff in the purple that we buy from China, compared to how much they buy from us. So, my question is, how come we buy so much more stuff from them?
But they make everything, we don't make
Why? So, head on one at a time, because we're one on camera, and they can't hear you. My question is, why do we buy their stuff? Yes?
To make it cheaper.
Why?
Because they have less shelves, labor laws, and they can have sweatshops.
Gotcha. So, in sweatshops, how much you get paid?
Very little. To none.
So let's say you make $4 an hour in China, or $4 a day, and in the United States you make $8 an hour. It's tough to compete with that. Now the reason that they actually have more Chinese honor students than we have honor students in the United States. They've got more honor students than we have students.
They don't want to work in the crap.
Their brains are no different than yours. You guys are both equally capable of learning.
I mean, their brain.
However, if they don't work hard in junior high, they may not even get into high school. And if they don't work hard in high school, they won't get into college, which puts them at back-breaking labor for the rest of their life. It takes them about a half a month's salary to buy an iPhone that they made. In fact, they made about 15 of them a day. It takes them half a month's salary to be able to afford it. So while we're looking at the price, comparatively speaking, they're making a lot of our stuff because they can make it quickly and cheaply. Hensley, can I fast forward your question for a second so we get this done before the bell? Write it down though, because it'll be a good one. Which policy did Japan begin to ignore? It's the open door policy. They stopped the trade. If I were to say a war broke out between Russia and Japan, who do you think's going to win? Now, it is. And Mason and I and all of us not so tall people will say,
Yes.
it's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. Japan beat Russia in the Russo Japanese War.
Russia just. Okay.
The result, he got caught. The result in the treaty of this war was that Japan gets Korea. In exchange for them stopping expansion. What happened in San Francisco to Asian students when we sent them to different schools? What's the 8th grade appropriate S word to say?
Scrappy.
When we send you to different schools?
Segregation.
Segregation. So typically in the South after the Civil War, we talked about this segregation. But now we're sending you because you're a different race. What was sent around the world to display our naval power? Warships, the Great White Fleet. So my question to you is, why do you think that we would do this? One, we built these battleships not like camo, we built them bright white. And then instead of keeping them a secret, we sailed them around the world. Why do you think we do that?
Show off the power.
Flex our muscles. It's like those countries, every year they got that big parade on their Independence Day or whatever. They drive their big missile ships and their tanks down the big road. They got their saluting their president and their leader. They're showing off. They don't want other people to mess with them. The United States in 1906 was flexing our military might. Last, finally, I kind of gave you this one. Looking critically at the relationship between the United States and Japan, does it foreshadow anything? Well, Japan's expanding a lot, going to war, taking over some places. And the United States is kind of doing the same thing in the Pacific. We were the only thing standing in their way, and this kind of maybe foreshadows World War II. Hang on, First Bell, we are a reading behind. We will get there tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day.